Today I'm going to be reacting and responding to the most triggering woman I have seen on the internet, the doormat mom. Hi, my name is Maddie, and welcome back, or welcome to the Anti-Alienation Project. If you're new here, here is where I talk about all things related to a certain form of child psychological abuse that I went through for 20 years, starting at the age of 9. This really involves one parent who is angry, and spiteful, and hurt, who goes on a campaign to manipulate their child to reject their other parent. It often happens in the context of a custody battle, or after a divorce, or during a divorce, and this is a very damaging form of abuse for the child. It's very painful for the parent, and it can leave long-lasting self-destructive effects on the child's life. I speak out about this. I try to raise awareness and educate people about what it's like to go through from the child's perspective. If you enjoy these videos, or if you want to help get parental alienation into the algorithm and inform more people out there about what this is and how harmful it is, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Let's get into it. It's been a while since I've done a TikTok reaction video, and I've got to say that I'm starting off strong again with the doormat mom. I was so triggered by this woman on TikTok that I had to, regulate myself. I will say that I think she is a great example of the way that parents who are alienators, who have personality disorders, cannot take accountability for what they've done to their child. She's on TikTok. She is, quite popular. She has like 67,000 followers, and she's been on Dr. Phil. We're gonna watch some of these TikToks and react and respond together because she is deeply problematic in my opinion, and she just gets me all fired up. So you might see a new side of me today, and if you do, it's because this woman triggers the F out of me.
Adult kids do estrange themselves from good parents. They do. And the world that you're living in that says otherwise is one we want to know about, because we'd like to convince our estranged adult kids to join us there. We really would.
The crucifix around the neck is what gets me.
Just saying it doesn't make it so, especially in the face of real life experience like the ones we have, but also polls like the Harris poll that has the estrangement epidemic up to 39% of families today.
Why do you think that is, that the estrangement epidemic is, going on right now? Why do you think so many kids are having to go no contact with their parent? First of all, I believe that a lot of that is actually kids who have been manipulated to reject their parent. A lot of those kids are not actually estranged, they're alienated, they're going through psychological abuse. But the ones who do have to make that decision, like me, with my mom, for example, I have no contact with my mom right now because it's a harmful relationship to me. It's not safe. And that's why these kids go no contact. It's not safe. If you're a parent and your kid has to completely cut off contact with you because it's not safe, you have failed. That's not speaking to any targeted parents out there. I'm talking to parents who are actually harmful, actually neglectful. You have failed as a parent.
Unless you can counter that, I think you need to go back to that world and stay there.
So you might get a sense of her attitude from this first reel. There are some worse ones, so let's keep going, but she's very condescending, and she says it in a very sweet, very nice manner, very calm, very holier than thou, and it's the type of personality I'm used to with my own family. It drives me crazy. The crucifix around the neck, once again, is just the icing on top of the cake, because a lot of these parents, they're super religious too, and they think that they're, on their way to sainthood. Meanwhile, they're harming their children, and they're hurting their families behind closed doors. So let's keep going.
Do you know why entitlement and estrangement are so closely aligned with so many of our adult kids?
I love how she just goes, like she's just above reproach.
It's not that most of them are cruel, although some are. Some definitely are.
Some parents are too. Some definitely are. Why is she smiling? Why is she laughing? Sorry, I just really can't stand this woman. Ugh. Makes me shudder.
It's not that though, for most of them. I think it's more because no one's ever stopped them before, including you.
Including you. If your kid is entitled, it's usually the parent who created that entitled child.
And then one day, you decide decided to flip the script. And they had no choice but to find another stage. That's what I think it is.
That didn't even make sense to me.
You strange parents. Would you do it again? Would you have cared as much? Done as much? Invested as much of yourself in them? Knowing then what you do now? That none of it mattered?
It's very black and white thinking that none of it mattered. I mean, you're just going to write off your whole child because they've gone into contact with you rather than, do introspection, try to see what you can do to repair the relationship. You just blame it on your kid and they're completely dark. They're completely bad. That's what I'm hearing.
And that you'd end up in the same position you would had you done none of it at all?
What about what you did to make them cut you off, lady?
And probably even worse, because you're the type of person that cared and really cared. And not only are you dealing with the heartache of that, but you're dealing with the heartache that such a question would even enter your mind. You've never been in that place before. So would you do it again?
She's saying okay, so her kid has cut her off and she's saying would I do it all over again? Would I have my child? Would I take care of my child? Would I raise my child all over again just to know that they would cut me off? How incredibly selfish. How incredibly selfish. This is the problem, in my opinion, with this mentality that I see with these types of parents. Some parents have children in order to create people who will love them unconditionally. Some parents have children so that they can give love to that child unconditionally. Two very, very different motives for having a child. What's the right thing? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think is the right way to approach procreation, having children, becoming a parent? Should you have a child so that you have this little being who's reliant on you and needy and, is going to love you unconditionally in your head and who's never going to leave you and who will, praise you and worship you and you'll never be alone? Or do you have a child to share your love, to protect them, to give them everything they need and shower them with love and care unconditionally? And hopefully one day, they become independent and they can live their own life and be happy and successful. And you raise them into adulthood. Her mindset is really making me think that she believes it wasn't worth having the child because the child no longer speaks to her. And that's the type of mindset where you have a child just so you have someone who never leaves you, or so you have someone who always is going to love you in your head. But the reality is that children grow up. Children learn who their parents are. Children realize what you've done, good and bad. And if the goal of having a child or raising a child is to have this person who's dependent on you forever and will love you no matter what, that's not the right motive for having a child, in my opinion. I don't really want to keep going, but I'm going to force myself to.
Biggest mistake good parents who are now estranged from their adult kids made was that they cared too much about keeping those adult kids in their lives.
Do you see that crappy smile she just did? What? You don't estrange yourself from a parent because they cared too much. What is she even talking about?
And then it turned into emboldened entitlement, derangement, and then estrangement.
Okay, so she thinks the biggest mistake she's made to cause her child to go no contact was caring too much. Oh my God, I need a minute. This is probably exactly what my parent is saying to people.
The goal of boundaries set by parents isn't obedience, it's relationship. That may be foreign to so many estranged adult kids.
Okay, so this is kind of ironic because going no contact with your parent is setting the ultimate boundary. So are parents the only ones who are allowed to set boundaries? Or or what are you trying to say here? Because obviously her child has set a boundary with her by saying, I don't want you in my life right now. Okay, I'm about to play you the original TikTok video that I saw of this woman. It is one that went more viral, and it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Maybe some people are like-minded with her. I don't know. I hope not. You know, brace yourself, especially if you have a parent who is similar to this. Just brace yourself, because what she's about to say is twisted. It's just demented, twisted.
The biggest cop-out in the world that I hear from the estranged adult-child community on this platform is that they don't owe their parents anything.
Okay. This goes back to what I was just saying about the motivation to have a child in the first place. So before she continues, I think that I want to touch on it. There's a mindset that I see with a lot of these parents who are justifiably estranged, where they think that their children owe them everything because, oh my God, I birthed you, I cared for you, I was so selfless, I did everything for you, right? Not how it works. Not how it works. You have children, and when you have a child, you owe them everything. You're the one who decided to bring them here, who decided to birth them, raise them, bring them into this world. And I'm speaking from a parent's point of view. I have 3 kids. My kids don't owe me anything. I owe them everything. I owe them love, protection. I owe them so much. And not for anything. I don't want anything in return for what I do for them. I'm their parent. That's my job. But let's keep going.
I'm going to say it. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. You owe your parents for bringing you into this world.
She's saying, like, you owe your parents for procreating. Thanks. I mean, my God. I owe my parents for keeping me alive. Let me look up the definition of owe. So the definition of owe, according to the Oxford Language Dictionary, is to have an obligation to pay or repay in return for something received. If you create someone, a person, and you birth them, and you keep them alive, okay, just even if you harm them, even if you destroy their life in so many other ways, as long as you keep them alive, that being that you've hurt, that you've mistreated, that you've destroyed, owes you. Okay.
You owe them for the love they gave you, the caring they showed you, and the protection that they afforded you.
Now, the comment section in this video is something that I want to check out and see where people land with this lady. Tiffany says, I owe my parents the worst nursing home in all of Louisiana. Shout out to Tiffany. Jamie says, as a therapist, this is not accurate. Your kids do not owe you anything, and expectations are on premeditated resentments. I love this comment. I chose to have children, which means I chose everything that comes along with it. Yes, they owe me nothing. Someone says, boomer entitlement needs to be studied. Seriously, what did the lead do to y'all? This is pretty much all that needs to be said here. If you owe someone back for the quote-unquote love they gave, then it wasn't real love. You hit that nail on the head. That's conditional love. What she's referring to is conditional love. You owe your parents for loving you. The whole point of unconditional love is that you don't owe them back for loving you. They will love you no matter what, under any conditions, and they don't want anything in return. I just have to end with this one comment. The more you talk, the more you validate your children's no contact. Yep. I owe my parents nothing, just as my kids owe me nothing. Yes. Yeah, that's how it works. Also, can we just say that it's so wrong to rub it in your child's face about how much you've done for them, how much they owe you? Like, that is so wrong to put that on your child. Should we watch more? Maybe we'll watch a couple more. Just because this is the reason why I'm doing this. Look at this lady. The reason why I'm doing this TikTok reaction on Doormat is because Doormat here represents so many of these parents who are willing to manipulate their child in many ways, and particularly to manipulate their child to reject their other parent. Doormat represents a lot of these parents. Now, allegedly, okay, I'm not saying that she actually does that or anything. This mindset is what they have.
When an estranged adult child says, we didn't ask to be born,
We didn't, though. Like, nobody asked to be born. It's a fact. The sperm and the egg unite. There's no amount of wanting to be in this world that can make you ask someone to be here.
That's likened to, we don't want to fix things, we just want to win.
She's saying, we don't ask to be born is likened to, we don't want to fix things. We just want to win. It doesn't make sense. I'm thinking about it over and over, and it just doesn't make sense how those two would even be related. How does her mind work?
And it's extremely childish. So if you want us to treat you and see you as adults, maybe don't say it.
It's her mannerisms, I think, that give me such an icky feeling. It's her mannerisms that give me such an icky feeling. Like, even in the way she's talking and the way she's looking at the camera as if she's talking to her own child is the same way that my parent would look at me and talk to me like she was better than me. Like, I was, so horrible to her. She would look at me like, give me these side eye, make these like expressions that I don't even want to replicate because they're so disgusting. Even her haircut is just eerie to me.
I never called my own estranged adult child an ungrateful little bastard in that first video or any other video after that. And if you think I did, I encourage you to go back and watch it again.
Why is she smiling?
What I did do is simply ask a question. One that made many estranged parents see their own children. And also made many estranged adult children see themselves. So.
That wink. Oh my god. I gotta play it again. That was so creepy.
Adult children see themselves. So.
Oh my god. Is that not creepy to people? That's so creepy. Dude, she gives me such the ick. I can understand why her child would be no contact with her.
Maybe go back and watch it.
The nose scrunch.
Or you can just look to the next screen. I posted it there too.
I cannot be the only person out there that is triggered massively by this woman. I cannot be the only one out there. If you have a parent who is dysfunctional, toxic, maybe personality disordered, let me know in the comments. What do you feel when you watch this woman? What is your response when you see and hear this woman? I cannot be the only one. So the next one is her responding to a comment that says, my favorite thing about estranged parents is y'all genuinely think you're capable of doing no wrong. And this is her response.
Oh, wow. Shannon, self-absorption is a huge catalyst to the estrangement epidemic happening in this nation today. And you just demonstrated that it doesn't matter what estranged parents say or how much accountability they take for their mistakes on this app or off. You just hear what you want to hear.
There's not one TikTok of her taking any accountability. Not one TikTok. She's completely blaming her child, like 100% blaming her child. All she could have done to this comment, if she really wanted to reply to this comment, would be to say, no, I did do things wrong. There were mistakes I made. I tried to be a good parent. Maybe she could say that. I tried to be a good parent. I tried to be the best parent I could be. But I know I made mistakes. Because all parents make mistakes. Let's be real. Nobody can be a perfect parent. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. All parents are going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. We can admit that we make mistakes. You can be a great parent and make mistakes. It's part of being human. I think this video, and this is a really creepy face, I think this video just proves her nature. It proves it to me. This video proves her nature. And I really want to read the comments in this video too. A child can't hate their parent without their parent hating them first. I will say parental alienation is an exception to that, obviously. But the reason why alienated kids do, quote unquote, feel like they hate their parent is because they're made to believe their parent either is crazy, has left them, doesn't care about them, doesn't love them. So in a way, that is believing that your parent hates you, which makes total sense. Someone else says, do you know what narcissism is? And another person says, oh my gosh, I genuinely feel scared by this energy. It's giving Voldemort. No, but really that wow with the little laughs following it is the calling card of a master manipulator. Boomerism and narcissism are the drivers of the estrangement epidemic. Self-reflection would do you a world of good if you are capable of it. The epidemic is narcissistic abuse. Yeah, the estrangement epidemic is narcissistic abuse. Is this really what parents out there think? Is this really how estranged parents think? They can't take accountability for even one thing they did wrong. Not even one. Someone says, this is my favorite comedy channel. Are you trying to convince yourself or the rest of us? I just don't understand it as a mother myself. That's all on Doormat Mom today. I'm going to call her the queen of victimhood on TikTok. I will not miss those dead eyes. I will not miss those smirks on TikTok. I don't think I'm ever going to watch her again. I just wanted to share it because this was very close to home. I hope you enjoyed this or got something out of it. I know it was a doozy, and thanks for sticking with me if you watched the whole video. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.